Greetings and welcome back to Gadfly Academy. Paul Kingsnorth recently published Against the Machine, a book some refer to as his magnum opus regarding all things machine-related. Although I had read much of the book over the past 5 years or so as articles on his Substack blog, reading an edited and full-length argument is a different experience. I rarely rush out to purchase a book on its release date, but I did so for Kingsnorth's new book. I was not disappointed, and I encourage you to track down a copy of his book. So, although we are nowhere near finishing our discussion of attention and values, I have decided to take a brief hiatus to address many of the topics that Kingsnorth addresses in his book. There is particular value in discussing a book when it comes out, especially in our age with its 24-hour news cycle and decreasing attention spans. The publication of Kingsnorth's book is an important milestone in the conversation about the machine, and I'm glad to help in encouraging people to purchase, read, and discuss it. Over the past year or so, we have looked at many writers, Neil Postman, Jacques Ellul, Ivan Illich, Wendell Berry, among others, whose books continue to play an important role in the ongoing conversation about technology. Happily, there are many contemporary writers who are addressing many of the downstream issues that have resulted from our society's increasing addiction to and dependence on technology. A short list, or it's kind of a long list, of which are technology's role in increased addiction, attention fragmentation, anxiety and depression, reduced emotional resilience, identity confusion, desensitization, loneliness and alienation, dehumanization, wealth concentration, environmental degradation, the surveillance state, the loss of culture and community, and many others. Yeah, that is actually the short list. Addressing the problems of the modern world often feels like a game of whack-a-mole. Once one problem has been addressed, two new ones arise in its place. While there is a nearly endless list of topics that one could address, what Kingsnorth brings to the table, I think, is a perspective from which to understand the big picture and to understand the essence of the underlying problem. I've been discussing the question of values for precisely this reason. Until one clarifies one's value system, one lacks the clarity necessary to discern the nature of the modern world's dilemmas, and the conviction necessary to stand one's ground. What Kingsnorth offers in his book is an argument for shifting one's perspective. If I had to summarize his argument, it would go something like this. The history of the modern world can be best understood as an ongoing battle between a worldview that sees humans and all of nature as a machine, and therefore as completely changeable and replaceable, and a worldview that sees humans as fixed, and therefore we need to understand what humans are and what humans are for. If humans are simply machines, then there is no crisis. There are no problems, only growing pains. The path forward is the same one we have been pursuing for the past few hundred years, a mass social experiment, the results of which are yet to be seen or understood. However, most people have an intuition that something is amiss. Also, most people believe that they are more than just a machine, that they have a soul, and that there is more to being a human than their material bodies. Kingsnorth's argument is that human nature is fixed, and that the real crisis of the modern world is not one of politics, culture wars, etc., but one that results from the machine worldview that has been increasingly foisted upon society over the past few hundred years. This argument has been at the heart of Gadfly Academy from the beginning. If you haven't already, you can read the manifesto on our website. Kingsnorth's new book articulates the argument very well and offers an incredibly helpful perspective for understanding how we got into the situation that we find ourselves in the modern world. It's rare that such a book is published, and I really can't recommend it highly enough. For this reason, in the coming weeks and months, I plan to publicly read through Kingsnorth's book and to discuss it. So I hope you'll join me for that. As previously, I will release the weekly blog, video, and newsletter on most Thursdays, except when there is some kind of scheduling conflict. The release schedule you will be able to find on the Gadfly Academy Substack. And I will probably put some of the earlier dates and times into the show notes. It goes up for the next 2 or 3 months into January. So I won't put them all in there, but they will all be on the Substack, and I will include them moving forward in the show notes each week for the coming few weeks. And it'll be most Thursday evenings at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time on the Gadfly Academy YouTube channel. So hopefully you can join in on that. You'll be able to comment, ask questions, and if you haven't already subscribed to the Gadfly Academy YouTube channel, now is the time to do so. The first meeting will be on October 23rd at around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That evening is I have something earlier on, so we may end up starting a little bit late. But it's going to be kind of a soft start to the book study. We aren't actually going to get into the book until the following week. So October 30th is the date that we'll start the book per se. The October 23rd meeting will be just to kind of introduce Paul Kingsnorth, his book, and make sure that everything is in place for the live streaming. This will also give you time to buy the book and to read the first 30 pages or so. So the first reading will be from pages 13, the introduction, up through page 21. So 13, that's XII, not 1-3, if that makes sense. So take care, have a good week, and we will see you again soon. Bye-bye.